Dozens of sponsors and organisations have withdrawn their support from the UK's first ever global LGBT plus conference. That comes after the government's muddle about the issue of conversion therapy. It now says it will bring in laws to ban conversion therapy for lesbian and gay people, but they're going to think more about how any ban should apply to trans people. Well, Times Radio spoke to Nikki DaCosta, the former Director of Legislative Affairs at Number 10, and she explained some of the government's reservations.
The majority of the concerns have related to the proposals on talking therapies and gender dysphoria experienced by those that are under 18. And this is where, and conversion therapy is abhorrent. Is absolutely, everyone would agree with it, but it's designed to push away thought. Don't look at the proposals, because these particular proposals stand the risk that these children would be deprived of support by parents, clinicians who would be worried that they will be criminalised for exploring what else may be going on.
Well, that was Nikki DaCosta, who used to work at Number 10. Let's speak now to Paul Roberts, who's Chief Executive of the LGBT Consortium, which supports LGBT plus groups across the country. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
So first of all, just explain why you, as a group, are pulling out of this conference.
I think we as a whole sector, so we're the umbrella body for LGBT plus organisations across the United Kingdom, and we have to show solidarity with our trans siblings. A ban that doesn't include trans people is no ban on conversion therapy.
But we have heard from a political commentator this morning, we heard that from Nikki DaCosta, that this isn't the government saying that we're not going to look at this and we're allowing this to continue. What they're actually saying is this is quite complex, and they want to make sure that a law that bans conversion therapy for trans people wouldn't prevent teachers or medical professionals from questioning young people, having a discussion with young people, because it's particularly young people I understand that the government has concerns over, to make sure that this is the right decision for them.
I think we need to kind of distinguish two very, very different things here. Conversion practices, which go in with the idea that you are going to change somebody, and affirmative therapy. And affirmative therapy goes in with the viewpoint that there is no predetermined outcome. And so any ban on conversion therapy that was to include trans people, which is the right thing to do, would still allow affirmative therapy to continue. People would be able to explore their identities without that predetermined outcome that they are going to have to change. And that's what our gender clinics do already, do effectively. And I think we also have to look to other countries. We would be, if we introduced a ban on conversion therapy that was only on sexual orientation, we would be, you can count them on one hand, the countries that have implemented a ban and only included sexual orientation. Everybody else has included a gender identity in their bans. It can be done, it can be successful, and it hasn't been abused. So I think we just need to look to other countries to show that we can follow suit.
So if that is the case, why do you think the government has put itself in the situation it's in?
I think the government has had this perception for some time that we are a divided LGBT plus sector, that we don't all agree on these issues, that there are differences of opinion. I think yesterday categorically showed that we are one together. I lost count. I could not keep up with the influx of emails into my inbox yesterday saying, absolutely, of course, we support this statement. For the first time, we are a membership body. We would only normally put a statement out on behalf of our members. But yesterday, there was such overwhelming support, we had to take the decision to start adding the names of organisations that aren't our members. And for us, that is a first. And I think that really does show that we are as one on this.
The way you're arguing your case, why not take that to this conference? Why not talk to the government at this conference and try and convince them that their view is wrong and that your view is correct, rather than just pulling out? Isn't it better to have a dialogue?
This was absolutely the last resort. This is what none of us wanted. We have been working with government for so many years, and this will be the first international conference that the government would be doing on LGBT issues. But we cannot stand by as a sector, as LGBT plus people, as LGBT plus communities, and allow the government to use us as an opportunity to say things are wonderful here at the UK. Let's be on that global stage. We have had dialogue. We have been talking to them for many months. We have had assurances from ministers that a future ban would include trans people. and then number 10 rolled back. And this was number 10's intervention. And I think that comes down to their perception that we are divided, but we are not. So none of us wanted to pull out of this. It could have been a golden opportunity, and we will continue to try and put leverage on so we can be a progressive country when it comes to LGBT rights. But we will still be working with our ally organisations across the world, because so many people LGBT plus people are facing persecution across the world right now, and we have to stand in solidarity with each other.
Thank you ever so much for speaking to us this morning. Paul Roberts there, Chief Executive of the LGBT Consortium.
There's no government around on any media this morning, so we can't put these points to the government. Why are they doing it? Because you might feel that they are trying to avoid unintended consequences. That's what they say. They want to be in a position where you can have conversations with people, young people, who are considering becoming trans without it seeming that you're converting them against it, which can be made illegal.
Which, as Paul was saying, though, affirmative therapy, that's what that is. Conversion therapy is something very different, and he sees a very clear distinction and believes that that can be put in the legislation. And it is frustrating because it would be good to put that to a government minister this morning, but they're not around.
They're not around, but they'll be around tomorrow, so we might hold up some of these thoughts about Channel 4, about this, about Ukraine, about
see if we can get 20 minutes with them tomorrow.
Yeah, we're keeping a list, don't worry about that. It's 7:51, this is Times Radio Breakfast.